have another fantastic person to bring right on the air, and we're not going to waste any time to learn about more leadership styles and things that are going out in the world. I'd like to bring on Evan Rose. He's managing partner at Rose Digital. Evan, are you there?
I am.
Hi, Evan. Thank you so much. I'm glad we got a chance to get connected and coming on a little bit earlier on the show, so I appreciate that. Evan, we are talking on the show about really disruptors and innovators and business leaders, anyone who's doing something different and unique. So I'm excited to learn about Rose Digital. And so can you tell us a little bit about what Rose Digital does?
Sure. So we are a web and mobile development company, and we focus on building tier one, which are sort of revenue generating applications for Fortune 500 companies. We've got clients like American Express and Ford and Zoetis. And usually what we build are things that are fairly visible. So the Ford application that we built was a mobile application that can plug directly into the car, which is actually
nice.
a very interesting application.
Oh, nice. And now how long have you been, are you president of the company, right?
I am.
And how long have you run the company?
So the company's only been in existence for 2 years.
And you're out of the greater New York City area?
Yes, we are. So we're based in Manhattan, and so we're in downtown right now. We're looking into moving to Harlem.
Oh, okay. Very good. Yeah, sure. And so tell me, what kind of staff do you have? How big is your operation right now?
So there are 8 of us right now, and we'll be 12 by the end of the year. And it's a mix of operational staff, but largely we are functional staff, and functional meaning developers or designers, or people who directly contribute to the project.
And what made you get into this area? What drew you to, application-based programming and creation?
Sure. So it's actually a bit of a weird story. So I graduated from Harvard in 2009, and I had a social anthropology degree, which was, I guess you could say the diametric opposite of anything technical. And I came out and I worked at a hedge fund, and I didn't find it to be the most engaging work. And what I wound up doing is teaching myself to code at night.
Uh-huh.
And so after a couple of years of that, I was thinking to myself, perhaps I could use this as a career. And my goal really is to create things. I'm not a musician, I'm not an artist, but code is sort of my way of creating and bringing things that are impactful into the world. And so I'm just honored to be able to work with a great team on some really great projects that, have millions of users.
And who use them every day. Can you give us an example? You did say Ford. Now, how does that, I don't understand how that plugs directly into the car.
So you take your USB cable. What kind of car do you
have? We have a minivan, a Honda Odyssey minivan.
Gotcha. Okay, so there are some cars where you can take the USB cord, plug it into your car, and you can play music from it, but this is actually a two-way connection, wherein you can play music from the phone, but you can also grab data from the computers in the car. So it can tell you things about your brake health, your oil life, and a number of different things about the car. It basically gives you a car health, and it's actually an interesting application. So a lot of folks use it to manage their support and their service for their car.
So that they know, sort of what the status is before it's too late or before they let it run too long.
Exactly.
Oh, interesting. And so how do you then get your message out about the apps? Or is it that you're mostly B2B and then it's up to Ford to get the news out there?
So we are entirely B2B right now. So we are a firm that gets contracted to bring visions into reality using code, mostly mobile and web applications. Though we do some analytics as well. So we leave the marketing largely up to our clients, but we can tell them, here's what's working, here's what's...
Oops, you just broke up there. Are you
sorry.
still there, Evan?
Here's what's working and here's what's not.
Okay. And so what would you say are your goals? Where do you want to go in the next year?
Sure. So in the next year, I think staff will be somewhere around 60. We'd be continuing to work on projects for large companies that are highly impactful, and impactful defined by basically increasing the revenue of these companies or supporting their customers in some meaningful way. And my goal is to have, at least 4 new clients within next year. Our work is generally between a year and 2 years long. So, of course, that increases the amount of overhead and the amount of staff that I need to have. So there's a scale-up challenge on both the operational side and also on the functional side.
Yeah, scaling has got to be a challenge that is equal for everyone across the board. It is difficult to scale. You get to a point that you're excited that you have to scale, but then the challenge of actually doing it is something else. So,
Yeah, it
um,
definitely is.
tell me about. I want to talk to you a little bit about too the Steve Fund. You're co-founder and president of the Steve Fund. Tell our listeners about that a little bit.
Oh, sure, sure. So the Steve Fund is a nonprofit focused on creating a lot more support for students who are people of color and
Mm-hmm.
maybe dealing with mental health issues. And
Oh
so
wow.
what we do is we partner with schools, we partner with mental health practitioners, and we partner with allies. So allies are people who are friends or family members of dealing with mental illness. And we take our academic board and we create programs around the research that's happening in the space, and then we have them distributed through our partnership network.
Oh, excellent. And then who would be a good partner then for the Steve Fund?
So university mental health practitioners, university administrators, uh, counselors who are sort of mental health counselors, and also anybody who's interested in learning how to help out their kids or their friends if they see them having issues. So
Sure.
we actually just launched a knowledge base, and the knowledge base contains a lot of research and really interesting programs that are working around the United States. And these programs can be accessed through our website, which is stevefund.org.
And so it really kind of serves as a clearinghouse or an online platform or community for folks to find out more information. What was your reasoning there? What was your why? What pushed you to develop the Steve Fund?
Well, my older brother, 3 years older brother, he passed away 2 years ago. He was dealing with mental health issues, and he took his own life.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. And so this is really
Much
a
appreciated.
movement that's very close to your heart, obviously.
It is. It is. It's a passion of mine. I really don't want anybody else to have to deal with what my family went through.
Yeah.
And so this is one of our ways to do that.
And I've read so much about it, and of course the social stigma that comes with mental health issues versus if you have cancer or diabetes or some other kind of degenerative disease. But it's such a marginalization of folks who are looked at as if they just aren't pulling themselves up by their bootstraps and dealing with it. There's got to be, I would assume, a level of education on the part of the fund to let people know that that's not the case.
Oh, yeah. So stigma is one of the biggest issues. And a lot of what we're doing is, in addition to the academic aspects and the programmatic aspects, is to figure out how to create more conversation and make people feel more comfortable. We don't want people to feel like when they go seek help for mental health issues that they're broken. We want them to feel like there's a continuum.
Yes.
We all deal with different things through our lives. And this is sort of one of those things where it should be like when you break an arm. You go to the doctor and everything is fine. You don't look around and see if anybody's watching you going to the doctor. You just feel fine going to the doctor.
There's no shame or embarrassment associated around that.
Exactly. And that's what we want to bring mental health issues to.
And it's funny because I was just explaining to my kids in the car just the other day. They had said to me, what's suicide? And I had explained to them, and I really tried to describe it as a way, or I should say the mental issues associated with it, as really a illness or a sickness, just like anything else. And with the proper medication and the proper counseling, you can get better just as if you had a virus or a cold or a broken arm or something like that. So I really did try to put it on the equal playing field for them.
That's a terrific way to describe it.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost you're just like your chest or your heart can get sick, your mind can too, and that's what people need help for just as anything else. But I wanted to hop back for a second just to Rose Digital. So what are good partnerships for you? What are good ways? How do you grow your business?
Sure. So there's a couple of ways. We are seeking clients who are ready to make transformational changes. And what that means is that they're ready to take a look at their technology that underlies their business and make an investment in it. So these are companies who are taking core products that may or may not be technology based, and they're working with us to bring them into sort of a modern build and then building teams around these products. So it's really two components. One is readiness to become modern as far as technology, and the second is the willingness to build top-notch engineering teams around these projects. Because good engineers don't want to work on bad products. And so what we try to do is help them get to good products, which will help them to create a culture where they can hire good engineers and then continue to build a world-class product.
Perfect. You know what? Will you just hang on? We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, I'd just like to make sure people know where to find you. So if you just want to hang out for 1 second, we'll be right back.
No problem.
Finally, a show that supports women who are in the midst of a transition in midlife. The show is Second Wind. Here's what certified coach, author, and host of Second Wind, Joyce Buford, wants you to know.
It's so empowering for women to hear about other women and their accomplishments.
We all need cheerleaders, someone who's on our side.
Second Wind is that program to help women connect with other women, hear other women's stories.
In a stressful world,
find power in those stories.
Learn to discover your passions and joys again. Create the life you want to live to the fullest. Join us for Second Wind with Joyce Buford, Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Central, right here on the TogiNet Radio Network.
And welcome back to Business Leaders Radio. We are finishing up here with Evan Rose. He's managing partner at Rose Digital based out of Manhattan. Evan, if people want to find you, they want to learn more about Rose Digital or the Steve Fund, where should they go look for you?
Sure. So Rose Digital is at rosedigital.co, C-O, and Steve Fund is at stevefund.org. And on social media, I'm Evan M. Rose on everything. So that's Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. And for Rose Digital, it's Rose Digital Co. For the Steve Fund, it's Steve Fund as well on all social media.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for joining and sharing about your personal as well as your business. And we'd love to have you on the show again sometime.
Oh, sure. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, always interesting people that we're talking to on the show, folks that I never would otherwise have a chance to chat with. So